Hi guys, today we're going to work on adding fractions. This is a review from last year, so you should hopefully remember how to do this. Let's go ahead and go through the slides. First of all, our daily goals and objectives. Today, your goal is that you can add fractions with like denominators. And you can also explain what a fraction is and what each number represents. Our essential question is, how do I find the sum of two fractions? Remember, a sum is the answer of an addition problem. I would like you to start with this warm-up on slide 3. Pause this video and please write 2 times 2 times 2 as an exponential expression. Remember, if there are 3 2's, you're going to need that information. All right, now that you've had your turn, let's go ahead and see if you got the answer correct. 2 times 2 times 2 is the same thing as 2 to the third power. That's how you write it in exponential form. Now, we're going to write the prime factorization of 12. I suggest using your whiteboard for this, but if you like, you can also just handwrite it. Please pause this video and try it on your own. All right, now that you've had a chance to try it on your own, as a reminder, on your whiteboard, you would draw 2 little lines, and 12 is made. Let's go with 3 times 4. Okay, 3 is prime, so I'm going to go ahead and circle that. Now, what about 4? Oh, 4 is a composite number, so that means I can break it into 2 pieces. 2 times 2 equals 4. Both of those 2's are also prime numbers. So now that I have all of the numbers factored, I can write the expression, which is 2 times 2 times 3. You can also write that as 2 to the second power, because it's 2 times 2. Since there's 2 of them, I can put this little 2 there, times 3. That is the same thing. All right, let's go ahead now, and you're going to try to solve the rest of these on your own. You can pause this video to work through your problems. All right, in our 10 Days to Fact Mastery, we have new facts for today. 4 times 4 equals 16. 6 times 5 equals 30. And 9 times 7 equals 63. Please practice these facts today. Really practice them. Make sure you know it back and forth. We have a few notes for your math notes today. What is a fraction? A fraction is a part of a whole. It's a number that expresses equal parts of a whole object or a set of objects. Fractions look like this. The top part of a fraction represents the part, and the bottom part of the fraction represents the whole. The top is called a numerator, while the bottom is called a denominator. So the numerator is how many fraction pieces you have, while the denominator is how many fraction pieces the whole is broken into. For example, we have 1 out of 4. Or in all of these pictures, 1 out of 4. Next, we're going to go ahead and watch a short video. Here we go.
Adding fractions with a common denominator. We have 2 fractions, and here's a model to represent them. We have to add them together. Both of the wholes are divided up into 8 parts, So we've got denominators of 8 on both of these fractions. In total, we have some number of parts out of 8. We add the shaded parts to find out how many parts we've got, and that's going to be our numerator. 3 plus 4 is 7 parts out of 8. If I remove the model and we just focus on the fractions, you can see the denominator is unchanged. It stays as parts out of 8. So you can see, when you add fractions, if the denominator is the same, you keep it and just add the numerators. In this example, we've got 6 parts out of 10 plus 2 parts out of 10. 6 plus 2 is 8 parts out of 10. But then I can say to you, I want you to reduce your fraction to its lowest terms. If you've watched my other films on fractions so far, you'll say to yourself, I know what to do here. 8 and 10 are both even numbers, so they can be divided by 2. I can simplify this fraction. And when you divide top and bottom by 2, you get 4 over 5. That is a simplified fraction. It is now reduced to its lowest terms. The rule is, if you can reduce a fraction to its lowest terms, have a Nike moment and just do it. And you may be asked to add more than 2 fractions together, like this. 4/7 plus 2/7 plus 5/7.
We are not going to ask you to do that quite yet, so I'm going to pause the video right there. Let's go ahead and work through our examples now. As you can see, we have fractions. They're all pictures, they're visual representations. So first of all, we need to figure out what is the numerator and what is the denominator for each of these. So let's take a look at this first box right here. So in this very first box, and I'm going to put it in a square here so that we know what we're working on, let's count how many parts there are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means the fraction that I'm looking at has a denominator of 6. We have some choices down here of fractions that have the denominator of 6. I'm just going to go ahead and drag these up here just so we can see them. You can leave them down there if you like, but I know that these fractions are going to be the ones that I'm working with today. Now, since our denominator is 6, how many parts are shaded in this first fraction? 1, 2. So I'm going to take this fraction and it's going to go right there. Plus, sorry, my next fraction is right here. 1, 2, 3 of them are shaded, so I know this box is going there. When I add 1, 2 plus 3, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this fraction, 2/6 plus 3/6 equals 5/6. Right, let's take a look at our next fraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And since all these pictures look the same, I know that they all have a denominator of 10. All right, so if the denominator is 10, how many parts are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this fraction is 6/10, which is located right here. Now, let's take a look at our second fraction that we're going to be adding into. Once again, we have 10 parts, or 10 pieces in the whole. How many parts do we have? 1, 2, 3. So that fraction is 3/10. 6 plus 3 equals 9. And our denominator stays the same because it is still broken into 10 parts. Almost done. Let's take a look at our next fraction. we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts on this next fraction. So that means my denominator is going to be 8. Now let's count how many parts are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to take the 5/8 and put it right here because this picture represents 5/8. Now let's see how many we're adding. 1, 2. Up, 2/8. So we're going to add 2/8 to this. 5 plus 2 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7/8. That's correct. Now we only have 3 numbers left. Let's take a look. Since I only have these 3 choices left, I know the denominator must be 12. But because I'm a teacher and this is a video, I'm going to count them anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So each of these numbers or each of these fractions have a denominator of 12. Now let's count how many parts are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4/12. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also 4/12. When I add 4 plus 4, I get 8. And the denominator stays the same at 12. All right, let's take a look at our next page. Now, same thing, but this time the pictures are different. 1/4 plus 2/4. We have the same denominator here. What's the denominator? That's right, it's 4. I'm going to erase the question mark and I'm going to put the number 4 there because if the denominators are the same, that means I can keep the denominator the same in the answer. 1 plus 2 equals, that's right, 3. You can also see in our picture we have 1/4 plus 2/4, and when you add them all together, you have 3. All right, let's take a look at our next page. 3/6 plus 3/6 equals what? Well, our denominator is 6, so that means my denominator is going to be 6 right here as well. 3 plus 3 equals 6. So our answer is 6/6. How much is 6/6 worth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6/6 is also the same thing as 1. All right, let's take a look at our next one. We have 2/8 plus 3/8. My denominator is going to stay the same because both of these are the same. So it stays 8. 2 plus 3 equals, that's right, 5. We can also add 3 more. Oops, no, I can't. Never mind. There we go. That's okay. We can also add the colors if we want to. We can make this box go right there, and we can drag it 1, 2, 3, and then you could see how that looks. Same thing for this box right here. We could also move that and move it all the way across so it's 3. All right, our last one for this page. We have 12 and 12, which means my denominator is also staying. That's right, 12. Then we have 7 plus 4. 7 plus 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that equals 11. Good job. All right, we are almost done. 1/3 plus 1/3 is the same thing as what? Remember, do not add your denominators. It is not 3 plus 3. Our denominator needs to stay the same. So this stays 3. Please pause this video and complete this page. When you're done, check back and I will work through the answers. Okay, welcome back. 1 plus 1 equals, that's right, 2. All right, moving on to our next one. We have 2 plus 5. 2 plus 5 equals 7. My denominator remains the same and stays 10. 3 plus 2 equals, that's right, 5. And my denominator stays the same. Remember, if the top and the bottom number are identical, the answer is not just 5/5, it's 1. 4 eighths plus 2 eighths, 4 plus 2 equals 6, and the 8 is also going to remain the same. All right, guys, last slide. Same thing as we've been doing. Please pause this video, take a moment, and solve the problems. All right, now that you've had a turn, I'm going to go ahead and solve these. Since the denominator is 6, I know that it's either this or this. So let's look at the numerators. 3 plus 1 equals 4. So there is my first answer. All right, let's look at our next one. Denominator is 5, so it's going to be a fraction that has a 5 in it. Numerators are 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, so that makes this answer 4/5. 1 eighth plus 6 eighths, let's add the numerator. 1 plus 6 equals 7, and the denominator stays the same. Almost done. 5 eighths plus 2 eighths, let's add the numerator. 5 plus 2 equals 7. Denominator stays the same, 8. 1/2 plus 1/2, well, 1 plus 1 equals 2, and the denominator stays 2. Don't forget, 2 over 2 is the same thing as, that's right, 1. All right, let's add the numerators. 5 plus 4 equals 9, and the denominator stays 12. 1/4 plus 1/4, 1 plus 1 equals 2, and the denominator stays the same. 3/10 plus 5/10, 3 plus 5 equals 8, and the denominator stays the same. I only have one answer left, but I'm going to double check. 2 plus 3 equals 5, and I leave the denominator the same. All right, guys, now it's your turn. Complete the next 3 slides on your own, and don't forget to submit it when you're done. Take a second, too, at the end and tell me, can you do any of these key learning targets? Do you remember how to identify and describe a prime number? How to identify and describe composite numbers? Can you add fractions with like denominators? Can you subtract fractions with like denominators? And do you remember the parts of a fraction? Do you remember the name of the top of the fraction and the name of the bottom of the fraction? If so, make sure you take your check and put yes or put no. That's it. Talk to you later. Bye.